Viral Media Network presents the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. Today's guest, MC Richie Cunning and his DJ, Bad DJ. Welcome to the Sam Jack Podcast. Good way to start the show.
What you want? We stifling foes. Throw what you want. Your life for your dues. The roll smack them down. Next thing, let them down. Respect my we Brooklyn band. Brownsville.
Anyway, yeah.
Hot. Dude, that was dope. That was dope. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's up? This is the way we're going to start the show, man. That was awesome. So we were just listening to a rough track. DJ Bad DJ right there was telling it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that track we were listening to?
I was just fucking around with some drums, and and then last night I sent it to Richie. He didn't respond like normal, so that usually means he doesn't want it. So I just started putting Annie up vocals on it. I found the acapella and was like, "Oh, I got that on mine."
I texted you back. I said it was hot. I said it was hot.
After I'd put the Annie up vocals on it.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the show. This is the Sam Jack Podcast. I am your host, Sam, DJ Lumberjack. I've got my guests on, Richie Cunning on the bottom, Mr. Bad DJ, Steb, to my virtual left. We're in a Zoom virtual space. I'm your space ace from outer space here. Welcome to the show. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on. What's going on tonight?
Yo.
Nothing's going on.
Not a lot.
Well, to that, let's cheers to our health, to our safety, and to kicking this goddamn coronavirus. Cheers, gentlemen.
Hold on. This beer is green screening.
I'm digging it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, of course, as I mentioned, we're in this pandemic. We're in the coronavirus. So, gentlemen, how are we coping in this shelter in place? Are we practicing? Are we wearing our masks? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? What's going on with you two?
I'm protesting. I, for one, am in Huntington Beach every day in the street.
Yes. With your phone?
Protesting.
Yeah.
Saying, liberate Southern California. Liberate us. No, I'm just staying. I'm staying inside and making sure my parents are okay. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I'm doing. I wear a mask when I go to the store. I don't wear a mask when I go out to jog. I'm hoping that doesn't become a thing. Is that a thing right now? Because whoa. Because in San Francisco, it's about to be the law that you have to wear a mask
for real
outside.
No, for real. Like I go on walks with my daughter, I go on a bike ride or something. Sometimes when I ride my bike, I wear the mask. But I mean, like, is it cool to like you said, like not wear the mask when you're because like it's kind of hard to breathe in those things.
I wear a mask when I go on a jog. Like Jesus Christ, you want me to die? I'm not gonna wear a mask.
Well, it's special kind of training. It's actually a word for it. I forget what it's called. Restrictive breathing training.
Sounds like something you could get at the Power Exchange or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big five.
The word on the street is in San Francisco. If they see you like walking to the store, and by they I mean like the man,
right? London breed.
Walking to the store, like walking home from the store with no mask on, they're about to cite you, and it's over $1,000. $1,000.
Crazy, dude. I mean, it's like
it's a misdemeanor.
It's literally the brave new world, right? Like we're living in this time when it's like it's not a straight quarantine because you saw how China did it, right? Like you saw how they just straight would lock people in,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no.
So
I don't know. You know, honestly, my life is not that different.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm really missing is going to work. But for the most part, actually, I'm doing more. I've spent more time being creative and spending time down here in my basement, um, playing around with music. But yeah, I got to go to the store once a week or so, and yeah, I wear my mask. I wear one glove because I kind of got a system now. The glove that touches anything that's not on me, that's the one
Thank
glove.
you. It's not two gloves. Two gloves is not it.
No, just one glove.
One glove is it.
And then
Okay.
I keep in my left, I'm left-handed, so in my left pocket I keep my debit card
Your
and
phone.
and my phone. And
Yeah.
I often will pay with the phone now because then you don't have to touch anything. But if I gotta press put keys in, I use the glove hand. If I gotta grab something off the shelf, I use the glove hand. When
Every
I
time I gotta punch in my pin, I'm like, fucking fuck.
set up in my truck where I take my groceries and I wipe them down with wipes, and before I even bring them into the house. So
yeah.
I'd probably go overboard, but I got immunocompromised family, and I can't really be messing around.
No, I mean, going overboard is caring. You know, I mean, like that's it. That's it.
Oh, I wish I had the more you know sample right there for Richie.
Well, I got a little backlash because I posted something on Facebook. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was saying I was a joke, of course, but I was like, pro tip: you don't have to wear your mask inside your car when you're by yourself.
I mean,
And then I got a bunch of because when I see it, it just looks ridiculous. But then I got a bunch of comments that were like, no, because as soon as you touch it, it contaminates, and then you got to put it back on if you do another stop, and then you're contaminating the mask. And there's like, someone was saying that they have 7 different masks for each day of the week, and then they put them in a Ziploc bag,
there's no
inside out kind of thing, like so they're
all
not
that shit.
contaminated.
You can drive yourself insane with that shit. Like, what
Right.
what did this hand touch? Like, where does, you know, like, what mask was I wearing? Like, did I touch this mask? Did I touch it when I took it off? Like, fucking, you can go insane, but you gotta just use your best judgment. I feel like is where I stand with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's just crazy. You go down a rabbit hole. You know, there's kind of like that fine line of like being protective, but like, I mean, I guess it's your level of, you know, like when I'm walking my daughter, like there's not too many people around, and then when I see someone, I cross the street. I maintain the 6 feet.
Of course.
You know, I don't think that it lingers. That's what the 6 feet is about, right? It says like, it's not just like randomly in the air. You can't just pick it up in the air. It has to be from someone passing along, right? It can't sit somewhere.
I mean, but also, like, there's a lot.
I could be wrong. I'm no doctor, but
Yeah,
you know.
there's a lot that people don't know about it too.
Right.
I mean, from what I understand, is like we don't know. We just don't know. It's like it's too new.
It's crazy.
Maybe it hangs out in the air for a while. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But everyone doing their best to stay safe without like being a fucking psychopath is doing good work.
Yeah. That's pretty much, that's my summation of it.
Yeah.
Everybody not being a psychopath.
I'm digging it. So I want to get back onto the being more creative tip, as you said, Steb. Obviously, you know, like, unfortunately, you said you've lost work. I've lost work. It's an opportunity to be at home and just do all those things that we've been on our list that we haven't done. A lot of people are streaming. We see all these like live sets, right?
Yeah, a lot of streaming.
Is it going to be like
Also,
sensory overload?
Before we get into that,
Yeah.
had either of you heard of Zoom?
Before this?
No.
No.
That's what's crazy. Like Skype used to be the thing, and then all of a sudden Zoom.
How much is Zoom cashing in right now?
Well, exactly. Like, it's crazy. They're definitely
got a little scare with their security issues, but they've since fixed it allegedly. But yeah, who knows?
Did you guys hear about the Berkeley Unified District? They had to suspend their Zoom. Did you hear about this, Richie? They had to suspend. They were doing online Zoom classes, right? In the Berkeley Unified School District, and they had
Berkeley Public School.
Yeah, not Berkeley School of Music, like Berkeley Public School in Berkeley, like not Cal Berkeley. Like I think it was Berkeley High School. and there was a digital like Zoom streaker that like hacked in.
That's so tight.
It's
That's
like streaked a Zoom call like when a teacher was teaching or something. So then they had to like stop doing it. They had to like cut the program, you know.
so fucking rock and roll.
Right? I mean, there's always got to be ways to subvert the system, and not like in a malicious way. I mean, that's just like a fun.
You just can't kill
way,
rock
right?
and roll, man. People just want to have a good time.
But I want to ask you guys: have you seen any live? So obviously, everyone's talking about D Nice, and I'm like, of course, there's the new DJ D Nice, but I'm always thinking of D Nice that was like linked with KRS-One. So I'm like,
yeah.
I was like,
he confused me all the time.
I was like, he did a live stream. Like, I'm old school. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
no, D Nice confused me because that's what I first thought when I heard everybody talking about him. I was like, D Nice, like BDP, D Nice, like what the fuck?
right?
Wait, it's not the same D Nice?
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Like
It is?
the DJ who's killing IG every day.
Yeah.
We gotta figure this out.
D-Nice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like OG D Nice. Like, they call me D Nice. Take it not your suckers because you don't know how I did it.
You know, I have 2 monitors right now and I can Google this shit.
We can
Go for it. I'm supposed to be the host that's figuring this out. I'm just asking random questions I don't know the answer to. Okay, that's cool. You know, we can do it like that. All right, we got Richie.
No, but I love that shit. I love
Yeah.
that suddenly people are so appreciative of DJs and like producers doing it.
At first, I was really worried because a good amount of my income is from DJing. Not like
For me, mostly for me.
mostly for Richie. No, but like special events, weddings, private parties, and stuff. A good amount of my.
Those are my events also.
But all that stuff got canceled. So the first night Monterey County was in shelter in place, I jumped on because I already had an iRig. I had everything all set up.
Yeah.
So, fuck it, let's try it out. And I got on and did about like a 45-minute hour set, and people were tipping me. I put a big like thing behind me. It said Venmo.
Nice.
I was like, oh, I could live with this. But then the tips stopped coming because the same people were watching.
Right.
They're like, I already gave you $5. We're cool, man. Unlimited DJ work.
It's the same guy.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
It is the same guy.
It is.
Okay.
D-Nice,
I doubted myself.
D-Nice equals D-Nice.
Okay, we're good then. We're good.
The God.
Well, because I was second guessing myself because I mean he looks so young, you know, and I didn't want to make any assumptions.
Yeah,
but you know,
like-
when you make an assumption ass out of you make an ass out of you and me, you know, and it's like
he's just exfoliating and fucking killing Instagram, and that's what he's doing.
yeah, man. I think it's great. Like I never knew him as a DJ. Obviously, we all have multiple talents, and you know, if you love music. But I'll tell you one that really got me, and I don't know, I guess the format's different when they do these like, you know, like Swiss Beats is doing these like producer challenges or whatever.
Versus.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you guys.
Let's talk about it.
I haven't watched a ton of them. Okay, I want to watch more.
I've only watched one. And it was one.
The RZA Primo.
Of course.
Right. So I guess I didn't understand the format because again, like I'm used to like, okay, like it's a DJ battle, right? Like it's like where's your like 1 minute set of like cutting it up and then you pass it off and then he's got to.
It's not that at all.
Right.
I mean, especially not for them because they don't have any like. At least for that one, like RZA and Primo, right. Like they weren't. I feel like they weren't competing with each other.
Right.
They were just, you know,
showcasing. It was like a showcase.
Yeah. They're just old school homies that are masters of the craft.
I'm gonna play this, and then you play the song that you think matches up with this. And that
They're like, what's your this? It's all, what's your this? Like,
yeah.
Your this.
I watched the Scott Storch and who was it? Damn it, dude out of New Orleans.
Was Scott Storch getting his haircut during it?
No. Oh God, what's his name? Manny Fresh. Damn, my brain.
Okay, dude, that must have been pretty dope.
That one was really good. And then
I heard about that one. I didn't.
Part 2 of they fixed the audio with Teddy Riley, and dude, first of all, Babyface came prepared. Babyface.
I didn't see the. All right, wait, Stebby. Break down the whole Babyface Teddy Riley one because I didn't.
Yeah, because I missed it either. I missed it too. So I wanted to watch it.
I saw all the reviews, but I want to know it.
Okay, so the first one, Battle One had some audio issues. I guess Teddy was trying to do the most. He had like people up in the studio. He had like 4 or 5 camera angles. He was trying to do all this crazy shit. And the audio had all this delay because it was feeding through all these different devices.
Right.
And Babyface was just in a suit in his studio, probably with some, like nice brandy and his
just fire.
AirPods
just
and
VSOP. It's just me and some VSOP.
Yeah, so they ended up doing a part 2 last night, I guess. I didn't get to see it yet. I'm gonna watch the replay of it, but just what I did see, I was surprised. One, I didn't realize Teddy Riley produced the show. Holy shit, he must have been like 14 when he produced that. It's a fucking classic.
Wait, the show, like, what are you saying when you say the show?
The show.
Like the movie?
Fucking Dougie Fresh.
He produced that song.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing when you fuck with those type of dudes, like Teddy Riley and like Babyface.
Babyface was just all, I produced Take Control from Bobby Brown. So
yeah, those are the dudes that have most sleeper songs that you would have no idea that they produced.
It's true, and I mean, Babyface has been killing it for years, for sure. And
decades. I mean, him and L.A. Reid were doing. They were in that group, The Deal, together. 2 occasions. I only think of you.
That shit is called
occasions.
You know what they call that? They call that fucking quiet money.
Quiet money.
Quiet money.
So
that's the shit that plays in Target now, and you just collecting the royalties, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I hope so. Fuck, that shit's amazing. That's all like my favorite shit is slow jams. That's I listen to 90% of the time is 70s and 80s slow jams. I stopped listening to hip hop almost entirely.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Ace, the band Ace.
Yes, the band Ace.
Why not?
What was that? That's not How Long. That's Player. How long has this been going on? Ace is Baby, come back.
Oh yes.
Oh me.
So this podcast has now turned into a spontaneous karaoke, where like one of us will sing the song and the other of us will lip sync it, right?
I think like most of my conversations on Zoom so far have been for either work or hanging out with friends. So this feels like you're just hanging out with friends, talking shit, shooting the shit.
Yeah, why not, dude? That's basically what this podcast is. I mean, it's basically
right now. This is a gig. This is a fucking gig.
Yeah, the payment's coming in the mail. Okay.
You better snap up.
Well, it's about the creative professional. It's about folks that choose their own destiny. That read the Choose Your Own Adventure books as a kid and decided, I'm not just gonna do a 9 to 5. I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna segue that into the last time. I'm gonna segue into happier times when we were physically out there, in mixing amongst each other. Now it sounds so like weird, right? Like we were watching TV last night and we like saw people hugging and we're like, wait, does that seem weird to you, right? Like you see people on TV, right?
My man Grip Grant, shout out Grip Grant, shout out Rec League.
Okay, yeah, Rec League. Okay, we're gonna get into Rec League in a sec. I'm gonna ask you the Rec League questions.
Tweet that was today or yesterday. I don't remember what day any day is, but he said he tweeted some shit that said like any movie that has people in a restaurant is a period piece now.
That's funny. That's a good one. You can put that on a
Grip out here, still barring. He's barring.
Okay. Yeah. I can dig it. Well, what I was going to say, the last time I saw you guys in person, of course, it was a minute before the whole shelter in place, but it was the show at the Elbow Room. It was to say goodbye to the Elbow Room, which I think they're still technically open.
They're open. It's called the Valencia Room now. Got you.
And then there's now the Elbow Room in the Jack London Square area.
Yeah, which was already there.
Right. It was named something else before and that kind of thing. But basically what I wanted to ask you guys is, do you miss me? No, I was kidding.
Mama, spoiler, yeah.
I just want to reminisce about the Elbow Room and like some of your favorite moments. Basically that show was a goodbye. It was a great show. I forget offhand who else you played with. I want to say, shit, now he's drawing a blank because it's been so long. But you play with a bunch of homies. You play with a bunch of folks. Tell me about some of your favorite times there. Tell me about your stabbing the crew. Had a whole limousine ride up from Monterey that had a whole pimping crew.
Yeah, the fuck they did.
Yeah. So yeah, just tell me a little bit about what you guys remember about the Elbow Room, and then just also we'll segue that eventually into like, you know, what it's gonna be now performing live. But first, let's just reminisce about the Elbow Room and how great that little microcosm was.
Well, everyone who's in the know calls it the Bobo.
The Bobo.
The Bobo Room.
No. I don't know. Wait, Steph, do you remember who else was at the show at that last?
Cipher Sounds, and it was someone else's record release, and we just jumped on. Yeah,
it was someone else's record release, but they gave us the last slot because they wanted to have us there, but they didn't want to give us the prime slot, which I totally understand. But that's the whole, that's a whole other conversation.
I have like 3 really distinct memories, and that's all I can conjure up in general. So
yeah,
none of them the Elbow Room. No, my 3 at the Elbow Room are the 1906 party. 1906 release we did there. That was with I forget who else was on that show. That was Pep.
1906 was Pep and
Melina, and then we did the Night Train release there. That was really good. Like everybody from even like Ricky was in town for that one. And the video. Those are the 3 like really cool memories.
Oh, the video.
Pure imagination.
You fucked me up because our answers were going to be identical.
Surprise.
For me, for me, obviously the Night Train album release party was the best thing that ever happened to a bum like me.
Thank you so much for listening. This is Sam Jack, your host. Make sure to subscribe to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcast. Just search the Sam Jack Podcast. Thank you so much. You can find us on YouTube. Our channel is Viral Media Network 415. The playlist is the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. Check out all the other great playlists on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the interview.
But the Night Train album release party in 2010 at the Elbow Room was, at that time, one of the best nights of my life. And then, of course, the 1906 release party.
Which was 11/11/11.
Was 11/11/11 the same as the 1906 release party?
Yeah.
Or am I tripping?
We called it it was when the single for 1906 dropped. It wasn't even the full album. It was just the single. It was like post Night Train, like, hey, this is what the next chapter is going to start looking like.
Yeah. Okay, I see you. But then also I forgot that we had the weirdest, most awkward show / party to shoot a scene for the Pure Imagination video at the Elbow Room, where we basically got hella people to come because we said like, hey, we're going to do a show, but also we need to shoot a video. So also you need to like take orders from Sean on a
bullhorn.
While you were doing your show.
No, so like basically the way we did it was we got everybody in, and then we were like just playing music, and we're like having a good time, and then Sean DB, God bless him, I hope he sees this. We're gonna send Big Straubs, Straubby.
Okay.
Started dictating to everyone on a bullhorn, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. we need all of you people. Like, he was like telling a ton of people to go stand in the corner so that they wouldn't be in this shot. And then he was like telling people to come be in this corner so they will be in this shot. And he's also dance. So act like you're having a good time.
Act like you're having a good time.
And then he was also telling people, because of one shot in the Pure Imagination video, he was telling people like, now Richie is performing for you, but you're not having a good time.
Those literally things that happen.
Stare at your phone while Richie performs.
Everyone was so confused, and then they got with it eventually, and it was
a lot.
Good.
And then basically the way we sold the experience was, hey, we're going to do a show after all this shit, after Sean tells you all this shit that you have to do. Once we're done, once we got the shots, we're going to just do a show. And then we did a show, but we had no structure to it at all.
Like, you didn't even have a set list or what?
I don't think we even had a set. Did we have a set list? I don't even know.
No, I was just throwing songs on, seeing if you could.
Like, he was just throwing songs on, and I was like, okay, I know this one.
Yeah, so what is that like? I mean, obviously, like,
okay, I know this one. And we
I don't know this one.
We basically did it until he started throwing on ones that I don't know.
Okay.
It was an hour and like, I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes or something straight through. It was a marathon.
3 in a row where
that's a pretty long set to not have a set list.
Yeah, and there was like 2 or 3 in a row at that point where I had to bail out, where I had to like cut out of the song. I'm like, yo, I just don't.
Or do a verse and like get to the hook and look at me like this.
This song.
Turn around and be like, I'm like, okay, we'll cut it out after the hook, no problem.
Well, I mean, just break it down for those that aren't, you know, in the industry, or like performers that are just, you know, fans of yours or fans of hip hop or fans of music, fans of going to shows and don't know the process of getting ready for a show. Usually, you know, you rehearse, you decide on what your strongest songs are to go last, your opening songs, that kind of thing. So, you know, it's like it's a composition, right? So,
of course,
it's not just like, you know, freestyling on a beat, right? It's
never.
like,
Richie's process is,
which is its own thing, right? Like,
Richie's process is a lot different than other acts I've messed with. Richie does, it's just like, it's a microcosm for how he makes music too. It's like he does everything. He asks for feedback throughout the process. Like, what do you think of this or this or this? But he does everything on his own. He like puts the sets together, and you know, he'll hit me up like, what do you think of this coming out of that? And I'm like, cool. But we haven't rehearsed in what, like probably 8 years.
I guess we haven't, like, if you want to call it rehearsed. I mean, we've done a bunch of shows.
Yeah. But it comes from that too. Like,
rehearsal.
If like we've been in, like, sitting in a Mexican restaurant and be like, oh man, I'm uncomfortable about this verse. We'll do it right now over this beat. Like, if you can do it over this, then you'll have it. And like, literally have video footage of us in a Mexican restaurant before a show. Like, we're just doing the song over like some banda shit.
okay,
But that's it. Like that. Like, when we add new songs into the fray, Richie's had the confidence to know that over the years that, like, yeah, I'll know the parts. I'll be there if he gives me the look. I'll try and pick it up. I miss some stuff sometimes, of course.
Yeah, but that's you. I mean, that's you. That's you. That, honestly, that is having a DJ who is a rapper also, which is like hugely important to our act, because DJs, I mean, DJing a live show is enough to ask alone, but the fact that Stebby is a rapper also, and that he has that mind that, you know, that like memorizes shit and can like just recite shit all the time.
Yeah.
Also,
I can like look and see when you're gassed or like.
Yeah, you know, like when I'm hurting. You know when I'm hurting on stage. I'm like, I'm gonna die.
Know when to pull the ripcord.
Yeah.
No, just he knows when it's time to jump in and to back me up. But he also knows, like, you know, which lines need emphasis and which lines don't, and like when Basically, just when I need support and when I don't.
Based on where the breath is, you know, like where you need it.
He's the best goddamn partner
Oh, it's a match made in
anyone
heaven.
ever asked for.
That's so
We
sweet.
actually hung out the weekend before. We were supposed to do a show the weekend before, the weekend of this thing like breaking out, like the COVID-19 becoming.
Dude, that was like we were on the edge of the cliff.
Yeah, like
Wow.
literally.
And when it happened, yeah.
Yeah, we were gonna try something out because the 10th anniversary of Night Train's here. It'll be here in November.
Nice.
Technically.
Respect.
Yeah. 10-year anniversary. And so like we were like, well, let's start. It's more me like bugging Richie all the time. Honestly, I bug him like nonstop. But I was like, let's do a 10-year anniversary show and do the whole album front to back. And we'll just do it in Monterey, like here in my backyard, where I know I got support and, you know, folks, and Richie does too. But
and it was like, it was going to be like a test run.
Yeah, like small market thing, and then be like, maybe if this works, we find a way to take it on an actual train and travel it with it a little bit.
At the least, like maybe we do it big,
into the
like in San Francisco.
Yeah, the Independent or something. You know, like go for
no,
it.
where Powell Street stops and the trolley car turns around, right?
Yeah, Powell Market.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna do it there, just on a cable car.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
We have all the tourists that are waiting to get on the cable car.
So it's
or just do it on Caltrans, start it at 4th and King, and then just do the whole concert on the way down to San Jose, and then do the second side of the album on the way back, right?
There you go.
That was it. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, Caltrans, you know, you're good. Or Caltrains.
Ride the bus with us. Do you remember that ad? That shit was awesome. So yeah, we were getting ready to do the show. We were coming up in the week of, and Richie and I were back and forth, like, I don't know, this might be a bad look. And I was so on the fence about it. I was like, whatever you think is gonna be best. But unbeknownst to me, Richie was seeing what was going on in Frisco, and it was a lot more intense than what was going on here at the time in Monterey. There was definitely more. I don't know what. I guess people were already kind of sheltering in place, right? Because
SF was like locking the fuck down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think London Breed was one of the first mayors to call it before.
Yeah, it wasn't
for the state or the country, right? Like,
it wasn't full shelter in place yet, but all events had been canceled.
Yeah,
every single event.
Gathering more than 500 people or something.
It went from like 500 to 200 to like no.
Like 1,000 down to like 100, and then it was like, all right, then what the fuck?
So, and Monterey was right behind all the San Francisco, Marin, and Santa Clara counties as far as the shelter in place too. So, I mean, it was the right call. I feel like it kind of sucked that it happened like when it did.
I fucking hated it, dude.
But in some ways it worked out the way it was supposed to. And like I was supposed to go on vacation this summer for the first time in like 4 years.
Dude, you're gonna go on vacation in 2030.
Yeah, I was going. Guess where I was going though? That's the best part. Italy and Spain.
I know where you're.
Two places that just totally got
coronavirus
all up in that ass.
Are you going to Italy and Spain?
Yeah, not anymore.
Wait, no,
Yeah,
but that's
I
where
bet it's super cheap now.
That's where I was going. Yeah.
Yeah, how are you gonna get there?
On a cruise.
Oh wow. Wow. Oh my gosh.
It was a full fucking.
He was gonna take.
I remember the day that cruise ship
to Italy and Spain.
Wow. How long does that take? Like a week or two?
It's 10-day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I remember when
I like uncovered all that from you. You were saying that. I was like, where were you supposed to go? You're like, oh, like Spain and Italy, and like flying there. It's all no, on a cruise, and I was like, are you playing like fucking pandemic bingo right now? Like,
pandemic roulette. I had a couple of friends that were touring around like Eastern Europe. They were in like Prague and then Russia, they were all over. And then like, I think Trump laid the travel ban on like while they were out there. So I was like, dude, you guys better get home. Like, you don't want to get stuck out there. And I was like, you know what? Maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe it's better not to come back to the U.S. You're just stuck in Russia with some hot Russian chicks. I don't
That's
know.
not so bad.
Right.
Russia's big, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Just get lost in Siberia somewhere with the Huskies. I don't know.
There's a lot of Russia.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Who knows? So it's crazy. But yeah, so how does that fit in? Like, speaking of that, okay, so you have this gig cancel. Are you guys planning on some virtual thing, like with these virtual streamings and all this kind of stuff? Like, what is the state of live performance now, or how you guys see it? Or, you know, are we ever going to get back to normal? Are we ever going to be able to not shelter in place? And when we do, are we going to be at concerts 6 feet away from each other? You know, like, what does this all mean? Like, I don't know. Like, have you guys been thinking about that kind of stuff or what?
I'll put it to you this way. Remember when Nickelback was a big band? And they must have been like, this is going to happen forever. And then it went away. And everybody forgot about Nickelback. So at some point...
Nickelback, the original plague.
Yeah. But I mean, like, you know, that's like, it's an extreme, right? Like, things are really kind of dire right now. And at some point, it'll taper off. And it might even come down to a thing where, like, okay, right now, Richie and I can't even be in the same room and work on a set. But at some point in the next, like, 2-3 months, maybe we can stream a set, like where I'm DJing and he's rapping in a closed session, and we can share it. We're seeing like bands.
Zoom is stepping up their shit right now.
Bands are starting to do it.
They're stepping up their shit.
My guy Sick James and Colin, they figured out that Colin's in Vancouver and James is in Salinas, California, and because he's just the way he is, they wanted to jam. They wanted to jam in real time, and they figured out audio is just not possible over the internet because of the delay and
you can't keep rhythm.
Can't. So what he figured out was that the smallest packets in music are MIDI packets, right? You can send those over the internet in almost real time because they're so small.
Yeah.
They're even less than like
actual audio. It's MIDI.
Yeah, tiny little things. So if
just like zeros and ones,
yeah, Colin in Vancouver has the same patch that's loaded as James has in his place in Salinas, and he triggers it, it's going to come up almost with no delay or latency on the other end. So they were able to jam and play, like somebody plays the drums, somebody plays keys, and clip, launching samples as long as they both have it. I'm like, okay, there's going to be someone that invents that thing. That's the $1 billion idea that's going to allow musicians to play across the internet in real time without any latency or lag. And that's kind of what we're going to see probably pretty soon, in short order, I think.
MIDI. Are you trying to tell me that MIDI is back? MIDI is back?
MIDI never left.
I know, MIDI never left. Still fuck with MIDI. Big time.
Yeah. I don't understand it, but I don't need to.
Time.
So, Richie, what are your thoughts? I mean, you have anything to add to that, or like just things that you've been thinking about as far as this whole deal?
I don't know. The unseen side of it for me is that my my professional life, not that my rap life is amateur, but my job is event production at the California Academy of Sciences, nightlife at the California Academy of Sciences.
Super dope.
Do you fucking
shout out to that. That's a dope event. It's fun.
Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all Cal Academy. Obviously we're not doing that right now. And one of the reasons that I love my job is our summer concert music series, Nightlife Live, which I'm pretty sure is not gonna happen this year. I just don't see it happening. Especially because there's been reports of, medical experts, and I don't say that like, I'm not quoting that in a Trumpy way.
And you're not talking about Dr. Phil either.
No, I'm just talking about like medical experts saying like, yes, the economy can reopen, but we might not have concerts
Right.
Sporting
No
events.
sporting events, yeah.
Until later in 2021, like
Yeah.
not even this year, which is
Crazy to think about.
such a sad thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also because like Nightlife Live is like, that's why I love my job. Like I do all these other ones. I do all these other nightlives every Thursday. I'm like, yeah, this one's fun. This one's fun. This one's fun. But like, this is why I really do it. It's like Nightlife Live. So I don't think it's going to happen. I also don't think Outside Lands is going to happen. And I don't know when they're going to announce that, but
Yeah, they haven't pulled the plug on it yet, have they?
well, I'd love to say I'm not a betting man, but I am a betting man. And I would bet everything I have on Outside Lands not happening. So
yeah,
highly unlikely.
I mean it's painful. It's painful to me to subtract all of these like such important events from everyone's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because those are the only things that I want to go to. It's like live music shit. I don't want to go to anything else. I don't care about anything else. I want to go to concerts.
Thank you so much for listening. This is Sam Jack, your host. Make sure to subscribe to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcast. Just search the Sam Jack Podcast. Thank you so much. You can find us on YouTube. Our channel is Viral Media Network 415. The playlist is the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. Check out all the other great playlists on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the interview. Live events.
I want to do concerts and I want to go to concerts.
Yeah.
That's it. So to have those subtracted for, an indefinite amount of time, I don't know. It sucks.
Yeah. It would be great if we knew, okay, by this time, something to look forward to, because it's just kind of like, it's almost like we're in purgatory, right? Like there's no knowing, like, there's no real, like, mental way of grasping around. You're just like, it's sort of like, Pinky in the Brain. It's like, what do we do tomorrow? The same thing we did yesterday. It's like,
it sure is like that.
But having seen you perform, you're obviously one of the guys that really feeds off the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I can see you guys doing a live performance, but how does that differ? It's like, how much of your performance is tied to actually being there with the audience? You know what I mean? I mean, can you replicate it? Because like they've been doing wrestling without a crowd. I don't know if it's been the same thing, but like that's the only like closest thing to sports they've still been doing is like pro wrestling without a crowd. But I don't know if it's the same thing, right? Like,
I actually haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah, see, they did like a whole WrestleMania without a crowd.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, they did WrestleMania without a crowd. In fact, the state of Florida deemed it was an essential business, and that's part of the reason that.
Yeah, Florida, go figure. Yeah. No knock on Florida. I'm just saying, but that's very atypical of Florida.
Oh, I think we can knock on Florida. Okay, we can be California snobs. I actually got family out in Florida, so I don't want to rag them too much, but it's too easy, right? It's too easy.
Yeah, and for me too, that's a big part of my job with the radio station, is the concert promotion side of it. It's one of my favorite things. We had Alan Stone coming in on March 31st. I don't know if you know who Alan Stone is, but he's a singer-songwriter. He's a great artist. We canceled that one, and it was like, we book a very small venue on a vineyard here in Monterey County, and we get to bring in some really awesome acts. We've had Fantastic Negrito, Black Pumas, Cautious Clay. We've just had some acts that you're like, holy shit, we should not be seeing these acts in this little tiny room, in Carmel. So it's a big blow to us because it's a huge part of our promotional arm and our outreach in the community.
Yeah.
But just in general, the radio stations are letting people go left, or even Clear Channel's letting people go. It's just the state of commercial radio. So non-commercial radio hasn't been hit as hard because they can rely on donors to
Right.
stay on. But commercial radio, even a small station independently owned like ours, you can't do day-to-day operations without local advertisers, and we don't have them anymore. So that's just kind of the nature of it. And every industry's taken. I own a small restaurant too, and that's taken a hit because you can't expect people to keep going to the same places over and over again, especially in a smaller town where there isn't a lot of options. I mean, I think we have 340 something restaurants in this area.
Yeah.
And I think like half of them are doing takeout and curbside
Curbside
and
pickup is
delivery.
the new norm. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like stuff that's like pizza or like a little more simple. If you do something specialized, you forget it. You're just gonna have to eat it.
Yeah.
For lack of better terms, you have to eat it for a while. And we applied for the loans,
The
but
SBA CARE Act was.
apparently the not small businesses got first crack at those.
I heard about this, and they capped out, like they ran out of money, right?
Right.
I saw an article. Shake Shack was one of those companies.
All the money went to like not small.
Yeah, Ruth Christie, because there was a loophole, and they said, okay, it has to be businesses under 500 employees, and they said, well, our franchises have under 500 employees, so therefore we qualify. But like what I heard was like Shake Shack actually realized this, and they actually gave their loan back. And I think Ruth Christie's too. So I don't know if they're all doing it, but it just goes to show you when they talk small business, there's loopholes that these big corporations do.
I'll throw this out there, like,
okay,
you have to apply for that. Like, did Shake Shack apply?
Yes, you have to apply.
Yeah, the CEO did. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or did they just get a check in the mail? Because I doubt that they just got a check in the mail.
Yeah, you have to apply.
Yeah, you have to apply. So like, what business does Shake Shack have applying for like this small business bailout?
Well, the PPP was a payment protection program, so it's like, I do think that companies top to bottom, how big you are, big or small, are affected by all this. So it was,
of course.
It was intended so companies could pay people's paychecks with this money and dip into savings for other things or who knows what. But, obviously, when you have CEOs that make X number of money and all these top, because Shake Shack is owned by a larger parent corporate company. So there's got to be, I think it was intended good because, while it is a large corporation, all the people working at the stores are, retail low-income workers, right?
Yeah.
So it's like to be able to pay their paychecks, I guess, would technically be a good thing, right? So, it's kind of a mixed bag, and it's like,
yeah,
did they just give it back for a publicity thing? It's like, and then are they really going to take money somewhere else? Who knows? Like, it's just all up in the air. I think it's just like a total shit show, honestly. But
of course,
it's uncharted territory. I mean, it's new. It's like we've never experienced this kind of situation in the United States, and it's definitely starting to wear on us as a country for sure.
Capitalism is on display.
Yeah, and people,
turned a motherfucking flashlight on capitalism, big time.
So I guess that leads me to my next question: is like, the subtitle of this podcast is "I'm not a professional, but wait, I am," and you sort of hit on it where like you were saying my professional life versus my not, like, even though you are a professional as a rapper, but like it's that kind of mindset of like, okay, well, I'm making my own money, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a creative professional, but yet it's feast or famine, right? Like, do you feel like you already had the mindset of the shelter in place before this happened, just from, being your own kind of entrepreneur, artist, self-sustaining performer? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you feel like you already, even though you did have a full-time job, you were probably prepared to, if your rap shit blew up and you got a big record deal, or I don't even know that's what you're going for or whatever, but if your rap life gave you what you needed to without your full-time job, you'd probably go with it in a heartbeat, correct? Or would you
I absolutely would.
Right.
I absolutely would. I don't know. When I said that I'm not a professional,
But wait, I am. See, that's how the subtitle.
But
right?
wait, I am. But when I said I'm not a professional rapper, all I mean by that is that's not how I pay my bills. Because I do think of myself as a professional rapper, if that makes sense at all.
Absolutely.
I mean, because I've made money and I do, you know, and I charge money and I do fucking do whatever the rap people are supposed to do, which is what I do.
Whatever Bad DJ tells you to do.
Yeah, whatever fucking DJ Bad DJ says I'm supposed to do.
Green screen, Richie. Get a green screen.
What? Why?
He's saying for your face. Wait, what? No.
What the fuck?
I had to get one in there. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, to be, I don't know. It's hard. Sorry. Got a lot going on right now.
There's a lot going on, my brother.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I would absolutely be a full-time rapper if I could, which I could, and I know Steb is just fucking like swearing at me right now. I know you're swearing. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm taking this whole thing as an opportunity, as a gift of time to finish all the projects that I have bullshitted myself about for years, including like my next like solo album and like my collaboration albums. Like all I'm doing is the bare minimum to like keep my job, and then just writing and exercising. Like that's all I do. I view this as a gift of time. And what could be a more precious gift? Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I do a live vlog during the day, and it's just talking about the same kind of stuff, but more about news that comes up, acts of good deeds, like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just recently hand-delivered food to people in need, you know, wearing the mask and everything, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, you mean like people doing good things for other people.
Yeah, during this time of pandemic. So I talk a lot about on the show. That's exactly what this is a lot of people can get bogged down in how protective to make their mask, or how many people, you know, have been, you know, killed by the coronavirus, or how many people, how far it's spread or whatever. Or like you said, I'm quote unquote stuck. Well, stuck in the house. Well, no, I'm here in my dwelling where I have all the tools around me to create, right?
And that's a big thing too, is
right.
that I can make my craft in my house, which is crazy, which not a lot of people can do.
Right. And you're not married and you don't have kids, right? So now that I'm in that boat, like Steb,
out over the whole goddamn
internet. No. I'm not trying to rag you. I'm just saying, because of that, now that I have a baby, I understand. Like Steb has a kid.
Two.
You have two. Sorry, excuse me.
I made two of them.
Yes.
Came from my balls.
And they're both.
I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm not even mad.
I'd like to jump in and say that they're both goddamn beautiful.
Absolutely.
That's not my fault.
Beautiful kids.
But what I'm saying is, now that I realize how much time that takes to care for your child, the fact that you don't have that is more of a blessing, that you have you're not bogged down by even more responsibilities. You have your own responsibility. I'm not trying to diminish.
No,
I'm just saying, like you said, all you're doing is exercising and writing. That's like a dojo of the mind. You know what I mean? It's like you're just in there, like, ooh, I can see you just sweating it out with, like it just. I'm just so excited.
I just don't want to make it seem like like the way that I'm living is like Scrooge McDuck, like compared to fucking people who have like families and kids. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I didn't mean to say that. All I'm saying is
No.
because
Like,
you have that extra time. I mean, I'm trying to do it myself, even with trying to juggle childcare, because you know my wife works from home. I'm trying to do a little bit of work, even though I'm out of work. I'm trying to create more online content. This podcast being part of it, but also trying to take care of our child. In the meantime, it takes up a lot of time, and
of
when you
course.
don't have that, you have even more opportunity, like you said, because we've all got lists in the back that, I'm working all the time. I didn't get to, do this thing that, a laundry list of like things that I've been meaning to do and things like that. So I just applaud you for that. And I think that that's really how people should be looking at it.
No
Sort of
pressure. No pressure to get anything done, Rich.
yeah,
No
exactly.
pressure.
Well, in a way too, you got all the time in the world. You don't know how long we're going to be stuck in this shit, right? Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be May. It's gonna be May.
Cool. I'll have a song out by then.
I'm gonna kick your fucking ass.
all right, let's rewind it because you mentioned the rec room. I
Rec
want to take the rec league. I fucked that up again. The rec league. Let's talk a little bit more origin story if we want to take it in the comic book realm, but like, just like we have a mutual friend in Caffrey J. He's someone that you came up with, and
That's my dog.
Talk a little bit about the rec league, how you kind of evolved, and then how DJ Bad DJ came in the fold, and kind of how you sort of came to be, and what Richie Cunning's all about.
Oh my God. You're gonna ask me what Richie Cunning's all about? All right. So Coffrey, well, let's start a little ways back. I got kicked out of Lowell High School in San Francisco. And Lowell is like the good public school that everybody wants to get into. I got in by the skin on my teeth. I had the lowest GPA possible to get into Lowell. And then I got kicked out within 1 year. So that was tight. Wait, can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
So then when I got into soda, which I didn't get into immediately, I went to a different school in between, Independence High School, which was just a bunch of bungalows in the deep sunset of San Francisco. Good school though, great school. Got into soda and I met Coffrey, and Coffrey was the dude.
Yeah.
Who he was the dude who, like, we both knew about rap already, but we discovered like the new waves of rap together, and we would freestyle together, and we would like go, like every party that we were at, we would leave to like walk around the block to like freestyle together. We like, didn't matter how lit the party was, we were just like, yo, it's time to like take a walk and like go rap, because that was like more exciting than whatever was happening at the party. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I've definitely been there before.
Yeah, so me and Coffrey we were partners for sure. And that extended into slightly outside of high school. Like once we both graduated, we started recording each other. And then, I don't know, this story could go on forever. But we recorded a bunch of shit, and then we lost it all on a faulty hard drive, which is like the saddest fucking thing that you could ever imagine. We had like 8 songs recorded, and we had put so much into them, and we lost them. on a Western Digital fucking external hard drive.
And it was probably like this thick and like 80 gigs or something.
It was like this big.
Like 50
Here it
gigs.
is. This is the very hard drive that I lost it on. I've been trying to recover it for 12 years. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
he's like, I'm at night secretly trying to. Yeah.
I don't know. But we, you know, me and Coffee, we're still tight as fuck. We don't, you know, like that was kind of the, I don't know, that was kind of the event that I needed to decide to start being a solo rapper, which was the beginning of me, you know, being a solo rapper. That was it. I was just like, well, everything that we worked on for years is gone. And I was like kind of wanting to do my own thing a little bit. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. So I did it. And then a few years later, I met Rob Rush and Streetlight Records.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other story that I don't want to bore everybody with.
Why not?
What the fuck, man?
Well, it leads into how I met you.
Yes, please.
This is a podcast. This is a long play.
Jesus Christ.
Because, so while this is all happening with Richie, he was, you know, going to UCSC. He met Rob. Rob was a component to. Rob is one of those people that just connects people. He's just magic at that somehow.
He's a hub.
Yeah, and so him and Matty I and Nick and a couple other cats had already started Rec League. They had what was the group before?
The Moonies.
The Moonies, yeah, in Santa Cruz. And so I was at the time I was living in San Jose. There used to be this coffee shop that had an open mic. I think it was called Downtime. And like cats like in San Jose would be like Shamako and Mega Abusive and Twisted Mind Kids and Third Sight, you know, cats like that. Like San Jose was kind of popping at the time.
Yeah, the San Jose underground hip hop scene was definitely
for a minute. Yeah, and it's still got a lot of those roots with like a lot of the great DJs like Gold Child and Cutso that are still holding it down. But
oh yeah.
So anyway, we were out there and I met Rob and I got along with him immediately because that's just Rob. Like you get along with Rob.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're probably a terrible human.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. He's in where is he? In Tel Aviv now?
He's in Tel Aviv.
Wow.
And things are tougher out there than they are out here, let me tell you.
So from San Jose, I moved to LA to pursue my music dreams. And I was in a group called Ostrich Head at the time. And I found myself booking this downstairs at the Key Club. It was called the Plush Lounge. It was a tiny little like 120 capper. And they let me book it. They were just like, book whatever you want in there. Nobody comes down there anyway. So nice. You can't do any worse than we're already doing. And
I had an episode there once.
You what?
I had an episode there once.
I don't remember that. But
when I got very, very upset?
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen Richie upset. But anyway.
Well, go on.
So I was talking to Rob and I was like, why don't you guys come down to LA and do a show? And he's like, yeah, we could bring Rec League. And I was like, cool. And at the time, I think it was Maddie, Nick, Richie, and Rob. I think there was someone else too, and I don't remember.
Maybe Derek.
It might have been Derek.
Maybe.
I came down, stayed in my apartment in LA.
Nice.
And but then we did the show, and they were all and I love everybody in Rec League. I'm Rec League to the fucking day I die. But Richie, this is 2008 and 2008 2009, and I was like, "Your friend Richie can rap, Rob." And he's like, "Yeah, he's really good." And I was like, "No, he could really rap." So over the course of that summer of 2008 2009, I was going back and forth between Monterey and Los Angeles because I just started dating Katie, and I found myself in the studio in Santa Cruz.
Go on.
And Rob was like, "You got to hear some of Richie's new shit," and I was like, "Fuck, I'm in." Like, what do I need to do?
Totally blown away, huh?
Yeah, I was like, what do I need to do to like get involved here? And I basically just hounded Richie until I was like, I'm gonna be your DJ now. That's it. Like I told him that, like, I'm gonna be your DJ now.
You just waited on his doorstep, pitched a tent in his front yard.
I moved into his house. That's how serious I was.
It's true, you did move the fuck into my house.
So was that like agreed upon, or like did he just show up one day? How did that happen?
Not really.
Did he pay for utilities? Did he clean? Did he just take dumps and then not flush them, or what happened there?
You did none of that shit. You just lived here.
But during that time, we kind of decided, like, well, we formed that bond that we still have, as far as like when we get on stage, we're still those same people.
Yeah.
We're like, we fuck around, we make jokes, we talk shit to each other, and it always stays loose because we just don't like take it too seriously. We know the important part of it is what the crowd's saying, but the other stuff in between is kind of fun. You know, you get to have a little fun with it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you know, from a bystander seeing your live show, it's like almost like a stand-up routine, like in a way, you know, like the banter you guys have. It's fun. It's funny, like, you know, it's like, I know it's ad-libbed a lot, but like it kind of seems almost like a bit that you're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean,
I think the idea is a bit.
Absolutely on point. It is a bit. It is a bit, but it's not scripted ever.
Right.
The idea is the bit.
The vibe is the bit. Like that's the bit.
So it's like, you know, you can improv with the best of them, right? Like, you know, Second City, Groundlings, Upright Citizens Brigade, right? You guys are right there, right?
Yeah, no, all those people are bullshit.
I love it. And that's, you know, like, there's probably newer improv groups. I'm just talking about, like, you know, the classics of like where John Candy and fucking Stephen Colbert and shit came from. But
of course.
So
but wait,
yeah.
Before you go on,
yes, please.
I just want to say this, and maybe it's just a step, but is the stage the place where we still live together?
Oh, I like that.
We're roommates on stage.
Yeah.
Are we still roommates?
Yep, on stage.
And that's where that banter comes from. It's like when you guys were like cooking a dinner together, and you guys would be like, "Get out of my way! I'm trying to chop onions" or something, right?
I heard you talking about our whole history and like when we used to live together, and I was like, "Yeah, man, we used to live together," and I was like, "Oh fuck, we don't live together anymore." But it still feels like that
when we're on stage. Yeah, our visits are, it's weird now. We have like visits now. I just said visits.
We have visits. We have supervised visits.
But okay, so we have a running theme. This is something that's been going on for fucking a decade now. And it's every time we get together, because it's short spurts, like 2 to 3 days tops, unless we're touring or on the road or whatever. Then even that applies. That's a longer version of what I'm about to tell you. But something always becomes a thing for that weekend. Or those 3 days or whatever, and we ride that thing until the wheels fucking fall off. It could be a joke, it could be a simple little thing, and it like
catchphrase or something.
Yeah. So for like
that becomes the thing. That's the thing.
So when we went on tour with that last tour with Dell, which we need to get back on the road at some point when we can, when things reopen.
2021, my guy.
It was like. They were compounding, and it got to this point where like everything we talked about was a weird inside joke, and even on stage, by the time we got to Boston, like people were completely lost in whatever the fuck we were talking about.
That's the thing, that we get so deep into it that like we start
and Andrew was like
acting as though people around us know the joke. They don't get it at all.
Thank you so much for listening. This is Sam Jack, your host. Make sure to subscribe to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcast. Just search the Sam Jack Podcast. Thank you so much. You can find us on YouTube. Our channel is Viral Media Network 415. The playlist is the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. Check out all the other great playlists on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the interview. Well, I mean, it's just great to see, like, you know, you're so locked into like kind of this inside joke that you guys have such a connection there that, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like,
I think part of it is that like I've never. I mean, Richie will ask me my opinion on stuff. I will do the same. We talk a lot about stuff, but I've always known that my role is the supporting role, right? And I'm so comfortable with that. I'm happy with that role. It's like that's my jam. That's where I want to be.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
No, but that's kind of that's where I thrive in our relationship. That's you know, as a DJ rapper, and I think that you see a lot of conflict or people that don't get along because there's an expectation that they're both going to be the creative force behind it, and they make no doubt about it. Richie's the creative force. I get to be a part of it, and to me that's the blessing, is that like I don't have to, like, I've been in groups with like 4 other group members and we're like constantly infighting because everybody's got this struggle for creative control, or the input and the even the conversations about the music become a little spicy because we're not all in sync and walking at the same time. So we step like really good in rhythm because of that. You know, like it's just like, yeah, I know where Richie is. Like I know where he is with his music. I know that I also know that it's hard to create new music and content, and so that I'm appreciative of it. So I just sit back, do my part, and then contribute, you know, and give my constructive criticism when it's asked. But you know, I'm not like an out and out like, oh, you need to do this different, or when you're on stage, you know, you need to, you know, go over here and do this. No, it doesn't work that way.
Fuck off. You say that after every show. After every show, you say that same shit.
I whip out the notebook and I'm all, okay, so
yeah.
all right, when we did
I
one
like what
about
you
the
did here.
First of all, you could be a little thinner on the sides.
But as you alluded to, I mean, it probably has to do a lot with you guys living together and just having that long stem connection of like, you know, like
and they really
having to share the bathroom, getting mad at like, oh, he didn't do the dishes, or like, I woke up and he was spooning me. Like, what happened there? Like,
no, I mean, I used to hear him, you know, having sex, and it was just that. It was just what it was.
Did you guys ever do like the rubber band thing where you like, you know, you put a rubber band on the doorknob so you know, or you put something on the doorknob so you know that they were don't go in kind of thing, right? Like,
no, we didn't do that.
No.
I can't even explain to you the doors that led to Steb's room in my house. Which, by the way, Stebby, I might add, your room that I am sitting in right fucking now. Do you recognize it? I guess you don't because it's Johnny and Bodie, but whatever. No, we were, you know, we were just roomies. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We were just young kids, you know, just 32 and 30.
Trying to figure out life, coming fresh off a divorce.
Just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but no, there's just a lot of there's you start connecting all those things, like all the good memories, all the work, all the things that worked out, stuff that didn't work out, and you're like, I'm still here, so it's working.
Yeah, we working, man.
Well, do you feel too that like getting back, Richie, to what you were saying about not, you know, you have a full-time job and you do consider yourself a professional MC, but like because you're not relying on it to make money, you're a little bit more free and you're not confined to always, you know, feel that pressure of like, okay, everything I put out's got to make $1 million to, you know, or make tons of money so I can succeed. And, you know, it's like there's a different type of success with just being creative and being able to release the music you want to release as opposed to something that will be more commercially successful.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's a weird line that I've kind of danced on for, you know, 10 years is being a rapper, being a professional rapper, being a guy who has a job, like being, you know, whatever the fuck. Obviously, nothing I ever put out is going to make $1 million.
Well, don't just sell yourself too short, bro. Come on.
Oh, they gon' know. Oh, they gon' know. No, but I've never felt more. I mean, to be real, I've never felt more optimistic than right now, because everything that I've done, like I've done a ton of shit and I've spent so much money on making music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, tens of thousands, maybe at this point, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I have no idea anymore. It's been so long.
It's probably better if you don't keep track, right?
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But I'm in a spot now where I'd be happy to make anything and just put it out to people. And I know that there's not millions of people, but at the very least, hundreds of people.
There's more than that.
Hundreds of people.
Thousands. Well, I'm gonna say thousands.
Why don't you guys both just let me talk and just say hundreds?
Okay.
Hundreds
of thousands.
That will really like it.
Absolutely.
And you know, that's it. That's all it is for me. And
technically you're a platinum artist, so
what?
Technically you're a platinum artist with your stream.
No, the Spotify numbers that's not the same numbers.
Just own it. Well, I was going to say too, I mean, isn't that where we're kind of moving? I mean, this sort of niche market, I mean, isn't that where everything is with Instagram, with YouTube, you know, like, you know, celebrities or influencers or performers or entertainers or whoever it is, like the niche audience is kind of where everything's headed, right? So
yeah, of course.
Since you've had, you know, this kind of core group of fans, and not only fans, but, you know, with the rec league and kind of the extended crew there, that it sort of evolved into this larger, like, kind of community, right? And so like you were saying, you always know that you're going to have this core group that's always going to be interested in what you put out, right? Is that like...
I would never know that there would be anyone sorry. I would never know that there would be anyone who's going to be automatically interested in anything I put out, basically, is what I'm saying.
Except for this guy right here, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
He does. No, he does. He just, it's funny because...
I assume nothing, basically, is what I assume nothing.
Which is one of Richie's greatest gifts, is he remains humble through everything.
Well, I mean, it's a very Zen thing to just, you know, clear your mind.
I don't,
right? And just
keep. I expect nothing from
you. Last week, Rich, you brought up a conversation you had with Adam that kind of changed your perspective a little bit.
A1, my guy, A1.
And I think that needs to be kind of touched upon a little bit, especially given the current situation.
You want to talk about my shit with A1?
Yeah.
Okay. Sam.
Yes.
Do you know about A1?
The steak sauce, right?
No. A1 / Adam Vita.
Okay. Not off the top of my head. No.
Oh, he's the guy.
Okay.
The guy.
Okay.
So he is a phenomenal San Francisco MC.
Okay.
He's probably, I want to guess, like 5-6 years my junior. So I guess that makes him a millennial. I'm still a millennial. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, A1 is hands down one of the best rappers of all time to come from San Francisco.
Okay.
No doubt. No fucking doubt. And I've spent a lot of years in admiration of him. And then once we linked up and became friends,
Yeah.
it turned out he spent a lot of years in admiration of me. And we were both like,
that's pretty interesting.
what the fuck, dude? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I don't know where this is going. I booked him for virtual nightlife this last week, which is a whole other thing that I don't want to get into because that's like a work thing.
Right.
Anyway, I booked him to like perform on this virtual event. And he killed it. And he felt like he didn't kill it.
He was in his own head, I guess, huh?
He didn't like doubt himself, but he was like, oh, I don't know, like, I don't know, like this.
They're a lot alike.
Wasn't that cool? And like this wasn't that cool. And I had to be like, bruh, you fucking killed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm talking about this anymore.
What was the conversation you guys we talked about last week about getting your music out?
Okay, that.
Just pushing it out there, like not caring about it.
Have you say it, please? Thank you.
No, it was just like,
thank you.
What good is it making this music if you're not going to put it out?
Yeah.
Really, it's what it comes. That was my interpretation of what I heard secondhand from Richie in the conversation.
Well, all right.
You can't be scared of putting yourself out there. Really.
Here's the number one thing, without revealing too much about what we said to each other in this private conversation.
As he was ear hustling over there.
No, it was just that we both felt like we were being selfish by being perfectionists about the music that we put out when so many people had hit us up individually to be like, I love your music and I really can't wait to hear more of your music. And that me and Adam both were like not putting anything out for years and years because
That's pressure.
Because this fucking like snare wasn't what we wanted it to be. And like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just like, and it's just like, it's selfish. It becomes selfish at that point. It's like, what a fucking jerk to not put something out when you know that there's at least this one person who would love to hear a new song from you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess that goes back to me talking about the core community of fans and this group that is always going to appreciate what you do. They might, like you said, they might not just, run to the store for it, if they even run to the store. They run to their computer online store. But you know what I'm saying? But needless to say, knowing that they're, you always have a group rooting for you in the corner kind of thing in the back of your head. But at the same time, knowing that they're not going to have a checklist of, he didn't do X, Y, and Z, so therefore I didn't like it. It's like, you shall just speak in your voice and they shall bow. Like right now, somewhere in between, I think. But basically, like, there's got to be some, especially when the time they're in, like in the time that we're in now, like you said, that we have all this time, it just releases this pressure of like, I've got all the time in the world to work on this. And, maybe I can get that snare perfect, or maybe I don't need the snare perfect. Maybe I just put it out there and keep putting stuff out there. And,
if you're worried about the perfect snare, you're not going to make a hit record. I can tell you that.
Well, I mean, you look at cats like, there's stories, there's tales of like, Carlos Knight, Bay City Boys, perfect example of a band.
Oh, was that record you posted a couple of times, like on your, was it your Instagram or Facebook? You posted.
It's an 80s record that I've always loved but then I've like found and then I like reposted it.
Is
like,
that a
just
true
to-
story? That's a true story.
It's Carlos Knight. It's fucking Carlos Knight.
Bay City, Michigan. We were in this. It was this record shop outside of Saginaw. It's called Records, and I forget what it was called, but it's the legit like old school store that just kind of had like it's just old record heads. Richie found this record. He thought the cover looked awesome, and we
Kind of
played
looks like
it.
your
Which
background.
it does, by the way.
Yeah, and we played it, and we're like, holy shit, why hasn't the world heard this yet?
Yeah.
And we even talked about like how do we like find Carlos and like put this out. Somebody did.
Also, I bought it thinking it was an album.
It's a single. It's a 12-inch single.
Really? And that's all he put out, just a single?
And then you play the other side, and guess what? It's the same song.
Wow. Wow. Doesn't even have a B-side.
No,
Wow.
the same song, both sides. But go
Okay.
on. Sorry, go on.
Oh, it was Records and Tapes Galore. That was the name of the place.
Nice.
And so look it up because if you're in Michigan, go to Records and Tapes Galore because that's the jam. And the way they spoke about it was like, oh wow, I didn't even know we had this. Like kind of like this guy was like it for Bay City, Michigan.
That was the shit. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew what it was.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They were like, "Oh shit, fuck, you saw. All right, I guess you're buying this." It's like, okay.
But again, that brings me back to the point of like, I don't know what happened to Carlos, but I think a lot of it comes down to you just got to put it out there, especially if you have anybody behind you. You got to put it out there. I mean, we were just listening to when Richie was in town last. The J Electronica record dropped finally.
Yeah.
The J Electronica Jay-Z record rather dropped
Right.
out of nowhere.
And that's like the first release he's actually ever put out, right?
It's the
Official,
first,
other than just like
the first like full. It's the first album for sure. I mean,
right.
for sure.
He's put out singles or like
Mixtape.
freestyles or mixtapes, right? Yeah, but this is the first like studio recorded session he's done, right?
Yeah, and I often wonder, it's like, oh, was he just hampered by his own self-doubt?
Right. Yeah.
And you know that he was.
Yeah, or his own striving to perfect it or make it perfect. Like I get that too. I have a treasure trove of songs I just never put out because I didn't like one thing or another, and I think that hampers a lot of artists. I think it's just one of those things, and I don't know. They'll all come out eventually. I'll just put them out. Like I uploaded an entire album of stuff that I'd done from like 2003 to 2009.
Oh, way back, yeah.
It's up there. It's all on Spotify, but it might never get heard. That's fine, but it's out there. At least and honestly, it was a huge relief and weight off my shoulder. I was like, fuck it, just put it out. What's the worst they're gonna say? They hate it, and what's the best that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get some streaming revenue.
I mean, you see how much stuff is out there and how much just like, wait, this is a YouTube thing, right? Like even if not even in music, but just like even on mainstream like TV, like they have this as a show. Like what did I see? Okay, so like reality competition shows, right? They now have so they have like tattoo competition shows, which is like okay, I can see that. All right, they now have like welding shows, like a welding competition show.
Yeah, fuck. Shit.
Right? It's like welding. Like I don't know. I mean, if you're into welding, I can see metal arts.
Watch this guy weld the fuck out of this other guy.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, I like the fence he made. Like, I guess there's artistic stuff, but that just goes to show that, you just believe in what you do. You keep doing. Or like I always joke that like the lead singer of the Cars,
Rick Ocasek,
fucking one of the ugliest motherfuckers out there.
Good rocker.
Rest in peace.
Right? Rest in peace. But like, you don't need to be a heartthrob. You don't need to be good looking. You can be this like tall, gangly, or like everyone in the Ramones. You know what I mean? Like,
just be fucking cool.
Exactly. You got, you just gotta like love what you do. Just play it fast and hard, or however you play, and just like, just the conviction and the compassion, and yeah. I applaud you guys for keeping doing it. I look forward to if you guys do get a live session going. I'd love to see it, whether it be just like a live DJ set with you just kind of emceeing it or whatever, Richie, or however you guys want to do it.
Maybe you want to do it?
I have a few more just kind of fun questions to end the podcast with. If you guys are down, just to kind of lighten the mood to bring it back to the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, shelter in place. What is your honest take, and tell me the most oddball conspiracy you've heard about COVID-19? So whoever wants to start.
Debbie, you want first or what?
I mean, you were going to say the same thing, right?
What?
5G?
5G.
I knew it before you was going to say it. That's going to be the same thing we're talking about.
It's 5G. Hold on. You go though.
I mean, what a ridiculous idea.
5G. That it's 5G.
That it's
5G.
That we're all shelter in place so they can go install all the 5G.
Cellular signals are causing your respiratory fucking disabilities.
Wow. That one is so out there. That one is like,
where did that come from? Like, what is that?
No idea. I think it started with there was a collection of bees that had gathered and died under a 5G tower.
That's it, just from bees.
And then it just went from there, like
So,
you can go to a radio tower and find the same shit.
First, there were many bees.
You can go to a radio tower and find that any Tuesday.
Wait, Sam.
Yes.
Sam, I'm sorry. Can you repeat? Because I know there were two parts to that question.
Well, just what is your take on the pandemic as far as like, I don't know. I guess it's more of the latter of just like any sort of crazy conspiracy theory. Like, for instance, I heard people are saying that it's a control thing. So then they can tell us to do what they want us to, by getting us to shelter in place. Then it's like, okay, now they can tell us what to do. And then once we get the vaccine, then everyone's going to get the vaccine, and it's going to indoctrinate us with something and then have some sort of like mind control over us because everyone's going to take the vaccine. These anti-vaxxer kind of
like movement. Some deep state shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't believe any of it, but I just find it fascinating what people, you know what I mean?
It's worth discussing, I guess.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't know.
The deep state shit to me is like the funniest thing. The whole QAnon situation. Holy
the Q.
That I actually know people. I know people. I talk to people.
You know some Qs? You know some Qs?
So please explain for those. I'm not actually familiar. I know a little bit about the deep state, but I don't know this Q thing.
So
Debbie, I really have to pee.
Okay.
So
I'll hold this down while you do that.
Go pee.
Go do it.
But can you explain the Q shit while I pee?
Yeah. So the QAnon thing started as I believe, Twitter account. Twitter or Reddit, one of the two.
Okay.
And it was basically someone claiming that they had inside information from inside the administration of what was going on to people who were against the administration, such as the Clintons, the Obamas, on and on. It was an extension of the theory. I don't know if you remember Pizzagate, but it was kind of another extension of that, taken a little bit further. And they started using and they did have some sort of either luck or inside information where like Trump's going to mention this a little bit later. He's going to use this code word, and that code word is going to be for us to know that he's talking to us.
Wow.
And it was a lot of like these Q was posting a lot of these things that were kind of just lining up time-wise, but the conspiracies were so ridiculous and over the top that, at least to me anyway, I think of myself, I'm a little drunk now, but as a reasonable human, they were just unreasonable.
Yeah.
And that's like basically where it started. And then the QAnon thing just took off. There was more people subscribing and believing and looking into this deep state thing, which apparently is people of the Democratic Party with too much power doing salacious things under the nose of American citizens while undermining our democracy. So none of it's come to pass, of course. At this point, it's been going on for years. There's some great podcasts out there about it. I've talked to people who believe that it's real. I've heard from people that believe it's real.
Wow.
And it's almost comical at this point. Like I can't, and I don't fall on either side. I try not to. I try and stay open-minded. Like, it's really hard to look at a two-party system and think that like one or the other is right or wrong. So you can't do it. Like you just can't do it.
Yeah.
But the QAnon thing is completely, it's wacky and out there, and to think that there's a deep state, puppet masters controlling things behind the scene is just a little over the top.
Dude, anytime they can say, "Oh, well, like he said this code word,"
right?
No, that just it's just too
like, and his 6 o'clock speech, he's going to say this code word, and that means this. Like everybody's got to know. Like, no, that's not.
Oh fuck! Did you hear him say it? He said it.
Yeah.
And the message boards go crazy, on Reddit and Twitter. Twitter's the devil, yo.
Twitter is the worst.
So do you have any other crazy conspiracy theory, Richie, you want to talk about, or are you good?
I definitely don't have any conspiracy theories that I want to talk about.
No worries, because the next question that I want to finish with is it's easy. This one's an easy one, okay? I'm going to finish on an easy note. So other than, you said all you've been doing is running, well, maybe you could give us some good exercise tips, but as far as any podcasts, YouTube channels, movies you've been watching, albums to recommend, special drinks you've been making, any sort of food you've been cooking up, any sort of shelter-in-place recommendations, something that's been keeping you going, maybe like, I know some people have like a specialty tea that, immunity tea, or, they bake cookies, special cookies, or any kind of cookies you want.
I mean, for me, it's been a struggle, just because my fuel is people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's been hard, and living alone makes it it's a whole other world when you live alone, in all this shit. And bless up to all the people with families and kids. Stebby, I see you. I know it's hard. I know it's fucking hard. To have to have kids that are just in the house all the time. But it's also hard. It's hard to just be by yourself all
isolation
all the time. Yeah. All the time. And
so what would you recommend to other people in your situation?
I don't know, just to have something to work on, basically. And that goes beyond this situation. Is to have a vision of something, like to have a vision of what something will be someday, which is always how I viewed, like making albums or making anything. But yeah, you gotta have a visualization to make things right now seem not so much right now.
Yeah.
Big bottle baby boys.
Yeah.
Big bottle
baby, man.
Yeah, big bottle baby boys.
Say that.
Drink out of tequila bottle.
Ooh.
I am not a fan of this tequila, by the way. So Luna Azul, sorry, not to knock your brand. Not a huge fan.
Not to knock your brand, but I'm right out here knocking your fucking.
I could never do tequila. It doesn't mix with my I don't know, my insides so much. So I've been sipping on some Four Roses.
Oh,
You guys down with the Four Roses?
Four Roses.
It's a bourbon.
It's a very solid bourbon.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's actually really well priced. For the price, you might think it's like cheap and bad, but it's actually really good. It's definitely better than Jack. You know, it's like I know Bullet's all the rage, but you know, there's the rye Bullet and then the bourbon Bullet. I like the bourbon better. I'm not much of a rye guy, but like
Bullet was aged like, I don't know,
5-6 years ago
in the 2000s.
Yeah,
Go fuck a Bullet.
I guess it's old hat now, but when it first came out, everyone was all about that shit. But I don't know what's, you know, Buffalo Trace, maybe that's another good one. Who knows? But
Basil Hayden's.
So yeah, I guess we could go on to drink recommendations. But Steb, what do you got? You got any good podcasts you've been listening to, or YouTube channels?
My buddy Ike just sent me the beta or the first version of his book, so I'm going to read through that in the next couple of days. Put some notes in it. I'm really excited about it. He was he served in the military, and he has a very particular condition where in stressful situations time slows down. There's actually a name for it. And he crashed a helicopter, and in the weirdest thing, like he was able to remember what all the gauges were at, where everything was before he knocked out. Time slows down for him basically in stressful situations. It's a really weird thing, but he wrote a book about it. It's a science fiction book. So I'm going to get through that, and just continue to drink a lot of tequila.
Yeah.
My recommendation.
Sounds legit.
Read a book. Those are my recommendations. Read a book or two, or 5 or 20. Create whatever you can create. I don't care if it's a garden or a diorama of your favorite Marvel movie, and drink some tequila. You know, just like hang in there. I know it's tough. It's tough for a lot of people for different reasons. Richie mentioned whether you're by yourself or with your family. There's problems in all of it. But just stay up. Do your best to stay positive, and find some tequila. Don't get the Lunazul though.
Wait, can I jump back to me for a sec?
Oh, always.
Okay. As far as book recommendations?
Yes.
That's gonna be it. That's the teaser for the whole podcast.
No. There's a book. It's called Season of the Witch.
Okay.
It's written by David Talbot. And this book is, I'm almost done with it, by the way. I'm almost done with it. I'm like 3/4 of the way through.
Okay.
It's a great history of what I feel is the true history of San Francisco.
Okay.
And it's dark. It's grim. There's a lot of dark stories in it. It's about everything. It's about like starting from like the Summer of Love to like Hell's Angels to, you know, fucking Billy Graham, like all the shit.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's the story of San Francisco that is not what they would put in the tourism brochure.
Right. Barbary Coast kind of stuff. And
yeah, Barbary Coast, it's fucking phenomenal.
The Beat Generation, right? Probably some Allen Ginsberg and Jack Kerouac stuff.
It's all in there.
Neil
And
Cassidy.
my dad gave me the book because he wrote in the fucking, like the first 2 pages, like, this is the story of our city. And
That's
that was
awesome.
super powerful to me. And I was like,
yeah, you forget that these days in San Francisco.
I'm not gonna cry on this shit. But it's
you love the city more than Richie.
It's just the effects of the Zoom background. It's not you crying. It's the Zoom background that's doing that.
Yeah, that background. That's actually me and my dad skydiving.
Yes.
In Utah.
Well, I was gonna say, like we like with all the new high tech San Francisco and 2020 San Francisco, we forget about all that part. I mean, it's always there, but you know what I mean? With all that's going on nowadays, it's good to be reminded of that. That reminds me of, did you read the
Gold?
Have you read the Hunter S. Thompson book, Hell's Angels?
No, but that sounds like a good book.
It was his first book, I believe, but it's basically his time. He lived with the Hells. He pretended to get initiated all for a news article, and he lived with the Hells Angels and like learned their ways.
Yeah.
But he writes, there's a scene where the Hells Angels go to Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters out in La Honda, and they meet for the first time, and it's like worlds colliding because they're like doing some like weird like drug deal, like they're trying to pick up acid or whatever, but it's like the Hells Angels and the hippies like meeting for the first time, like at Ken Kesey's ranch. Like,
this doesn't work.
well, no, it actually did, but it was like, it was just like, that kind of moment where there was all these different, like free spirits and entities and different like factions of like nomadic people that just sort of like decided to live life differently,
Yeah, of course. And that's what San Francisco is. Like that's what it's supposed to be. And that's not what it is anymore. I mean, there's still there's an element of it that doesn't die. But San Francisco was born as an outlaw city.
Absolutely.
It was born as a city that was the place for people to go who didn't fit in anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that book said to me. That book that I have not finished.
The Age of the Witch, it's called?
Season of the Witch.
The Season of the Witch, okay.
Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch.
And interestingly enough, the author of the book, David Talbot, is the father of the director, Joe Talbot, who directed Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Phenomenal movie. That's a good tie-in. I like that.
Do you see me? Do you see how these people see
Yeah.
the fuck I'm trying to fucking say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't hate it unless you love it, right?
Can't hate unless you love it.
That's such a great line, man. I actually had a friend that was
that was the most, like, that shit brought me to tears when I saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
When he said, you don't get to hate it. You don't get to hate it.
Yeah. I bet. Have you been on the bus like that? Have you been in that kind of situation where you just like, no comment? I'm sorry, you don't ride the bus, man. You're big pimping, man.
Yeah, I've been big pimping. I never ride the bus anymore. No, just kidding. All the buses I ride have been discontinued.
Ooh, yeah.
Whoa!
Zambuda of the Enjuda.
Yeah, no, the Enjuda. By the way, the Enjuda is still running.
I was going to say, still rocking?
Not a train, but it's a bus. The Enjuda is still a bus, and it's still rocking, just so you know.
That's dope.
It's still happening. Anyway, sorry, I sidetracked us for a while.
Well, it's all good. I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say. I've pretty much run out of questions. I thank you for your time. This has been such a delight. Yeah, you guys have anything else to plug or anything else to say? Any other well wishes? We've said some great stuff. Keep creating, keep being you, keep up the positivity. Yeah, any final last words before we sign off?
Stebby, go on.
Nothing. No, nothing really. Just
Nothing?
no, just got some songs coming out here pretty soon. So
All right.
Sounds good.
Follow me on Instagram at DJ Bad DJ and follow Richie at Richie Cunning on Instagram.
There we go.
And just hang out with us because we do a lot of weird shit on Instagram.
Hell yeah.
We're weird all the time. Only thing I want to plug is be good to everyone all the time. That's it.
Why we get along so well, Richie.
No, that's it. I don't know where this is all going. Nobody does. but be good to everybody all the time.
I like it. Well, on that note, let me end it with a toast. Never above you, never below you, always beside you.
Cheers, my man.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. This has been the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. Thank you, Steb, DJ Bad DJ, and Richie Cunning for being on the show. We'll talk to you later. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And this is the Sam Jack Podcast. We'll see you next time. Cheers. Thank you so much for listening. This is Sam Jack, your host. Make sure to subscribe to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcast. Just search the Sam Jack Podcast. Thank you so much. You can find us on YouTube. Our channel is Viral Media Network 415. The playlist is the Sam Jack Podcast. I'm not a professional, but wait, I am. Check out all the other great playlists on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much.